In today's video, we're going to continue our coverage on Godzilla Kong, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. Now it's officially out. It officially came out on Friday. We had the critics' reviews, we had my kind of review, plot breakdown, and now the fans, the general audience, have gone to watch it. What do they actually think about it? Is it really as bad as some people are making it out? To me, it seems like people don't go to the cinema just to have a good time for entertainment purposes. To me, it seems like you're going to watch a movie to literally break down every single frame and sequence, which kind of takes the fun out of, entertainment. So we're going to go over some Rotten Tomato comments, some Twitter comments, and some YouTube comments on my own video and see what people are actually saying. Was I wrong? No, I can't be wrong because movies are subjective. It's my personal opinion that it is a good movie. I don't do this, let's give it a 5 out of 10. No, it's either a good movie or it's a bad movie. I either enjoyed it or I didn't. There's no in between. So, what is freaking good, YouTube? Wish you everyone new around. Make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, MonsterVerse, pop culture-based content that I cover on a daily basis. If you could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and also become a channel member for less than 99p. Or less than $1, it really helps keep the lights on at Warstu HQ. Also, follow us on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face and the voice. And also follow us on twitter.com or x.com. Elon Musk can't afford to get rid of the Twitter affiliation, but Warstu G over there. So far, the movie is doing well from a money point of view. Deadline reported last night, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, thundering to the second best opening in the legendary MonsterVerse with a $67 million on Friday night, which is cool. So it should do round about maybe just under $200 million over the weekend. I do think this movie is going to do well. So Rotten Tomato, let's go over Rotten Tomato. Actually, it's actually quite hard to become a Rotten Tomato verified reviewer. It's not as simple as what you would think. So at the moment, and I wanted to wait a little bit, so it's on a 55%. Like I say, I think it's pretty pathetic putting a number on how good a movie is. You enjoyed it or you didn't enjoy it. Just like playing a video game, you enjoyed it or you hated it. There's no in between for me. So 55% with 163 reviewers. It's worth saying I've actually tried to become a verified Rotten Tomato reviewer and they turn me down because I don't do enough reviews. So the audience score, 92%. 1,000 plus verified ratings. Now, it's worth saying that, no one can actually verify properly if it's your actually honest opinion. So let's go over what people on the Rotten Tomato reviews are actually saying. So in no particular order, I'm just going to go over what it says from all critics. FilmAuthority.com, a serviceable continuation of a crowd-pleasing, if unexceptional franchise, brief, bland, just about passable holiday fare. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but like when I read stuff like that, I'm thinking, did you go into the cinema wanting to hate it? No, Godzilla X Kong is not the greatest movie ever, but it's a pretty decent movie. Okay, Doug Walker, Channel Awesome. A good enough time for monster lovers, even if it does feel like King Kong with special appearances by Godzilla at the end. It's a 1 hour and 55-minute movie, and Godzilla actually gets more screen time in this movie than he did in Godzilla Vs Kong. I think it's around about 8 minutes-ish. So, it is a King Kong movie, realistically. True. But Godzilla only comes out when he has to come out and when he wants to come out. Sarah from Digital Journal. The film has a major issue with scale. These monsters are supposed to be hundreds of stories tall, but in many of the scenes, it's difficult to determine how big they are. But she gave it a fresh review. Now, okay, this is something that I've got a bit of flack from not addressing, because realistically, the scale issue, yes, I did see it. I'm not blind. I did watch it on one of London's best IMAX screens in central London. Yeah, I did see the scaling issue right at the end, and careful with spoilers. This is probably the biggest one. It's not the only one. Right at the end, where Kong is riding Shimo and Suku. Kong is petting Shimu, and Kong looks bigger than Shimu when, in other sequences, Shimu is bigger than Godzilla. So realistically, Kong would not be able to pet Shimu. I get it. Yes, there is scale issues. But does it really take you that much out of the movie that you're going to slate the movie for being awful because of that reason? I don't realistically think, for me, it did. So we've got someone else that said the following. Jeffrey Harris. Wingard excels with the new Empire when he lets the creatures and visuals tell the story over the Mandal and dialogue. I mean, there's a lot. These are all like rotten. Elliot Collins. The MonsterVerse is fully aware of what it becomes, and it's pure spectacle. And all the action and not much plot or characters, that's what the film offers. They give more screen time to the monsters and made for some fun and exciting set pieces. I mean, what's interesting is usually the biggest complaint is there's too much screen time for the human characters. And then in this movie, over half, about 70, 80 minutes, over half the screen time is given to the kaiju monsters. And now some people are moaning that there's too much screen time given to the monsters. You can't win. So Ed Whitfield, 135 million worth of Hollywood gruel. Adam Graham, Detroit News. Godzilla X Kong is as big and as loud as expected, but when the dust is settled, there is nothing to hold on to it. The kaiju clash is a crushing bore. Okay, some of these actually are really interesting. So let's go over a few more and then let's go over some fan ones. So Daniela, Adam Wingard knows what he's doing with Godzilla X Kong and the Empire, and it's just entertaining enough. Interesting. Jonathan W. Hickman, the goal for this entry is monster on monster devastation, and on a purely brainless entertainment level, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so they're all fairly negative, to be honest, to a certain degree. I mean, I get it. I do get it. It's almost like people wanted this movie to be a blend between Godzilla -1. Well, realistically, it's just like people wanted it to be basic Godzilla -1. I don't know why all of a sudden everyone wants a human connection, a human story, when realistically, I think that's the worst part of the movies generally. So, yeah, to speed it up, I won't say who these are by. These are verified reactions from people that have seen it on Rotten Tomato. Fun movie to watch, and it's a movie where humans don't count and are parent only to facilitate a few plot points. Keep your thinking hat at home and enjoy the CGI slugfest. But that was 3.5 out of 5. The 3D perspective was very entertaining. It was a very good movie to see with the kiddos. 4 out of 5 stars. Best Godzilla movie ever. I love the story, the movie, and effects. I don't care what the critics are saying. The movie was excellent. 5 stars. One of the best of the franchise, easily 5 stars. Enjoyed the movie, lots of action, 5 stars. 5 out of 5, action. I mean, realistically, the Rotten Tomato score is 92% from viewers, as in people that pay to watch it. Because let's be honest, I went on a press screener. I didn't pay to see it, but my opinion was still the same, whether I paid or not to pay to see it, to be honest. It's not going to change anything. But the critics are really being harsh on the no storyline and just a bunch of creatures smashing into each other. So let's go over the Warstu comments on the video I posted a few days ago when the embargo lifted. We're talking Pokemon, that Godzilla's Megaform. Oh yeah, okay, because I said in my review that there was a Pokemon level upgrade. That's because I basically thought it was. So let's go over some comments on my own YouTube video. Needed more Scar King and Shimo battles. They just come in at the end and have quick fights, no real tension. It teases the aliens being in the next movie. Bernie hinted at it twice. Alright, can't wait for the next monster entry already. They needed to do a Destroy All Monsters Avengers type movie showing Godzilla, Kong, Mothra, Rodan, Jet Jaguar, King Caesar working together to fight an alien invasion. Interesting. I just saw it with my 2 sons and thought it was a great movie and would watch it again. Awesome. Huge miss with no end credit scene once again. Yeah, the MonsterVerse movies don't really do that, but like I said in the video, I can only go over what people have told me. So Mothra has had 3 standalone movies. Cool story, bro. Yeah, okay, the whole Mothra and Rodan couldn't stand on their own. What I was saying there was I was actually talking about if they were to do a standalone Mothra movie, a standalone Rodan movie, would it be received on the level of, say, Godzilla vs Kong and Godzilla X Kong kind of thing? So I honestly don't think they could have their own standalone movies, is what I was pretty much getting at. The film was a Kong film with Godzilla appearing a few times. Yeah, that's kind of a massive recurring theme that I've seen in the comments. Suku made the plot work. To be fair, Suku was one of the best parts. It was a great movie. I hope they make a sequel and call it Destroy All Monsters. The problem with Destroy All Monsters is I don't think they can do that yet. I think they really need a massive, massive build up to that. And the problem again is, if this does well, it's a good and a bad thing, is basically you're going to have Godzilla and Kong teaming up again. But what could the threat be? I mean, there's still lots of stuff in Hollow Earth. Just to watch it, 8 out of 10 for me. It was entertaining, but I feel like the movie was too fast-paced, and we barely had time to process what we just saw. Also, the fights were kind of short, but overall, I had a good time. Yeah, it was a short movie, a 2-hour movie, and yeah, the fast pace was really cool, but it was just monster smashing for 2 hours. That's why I think it's a pretty cool movie. I really enjoyed the movie. I'm very happy Kong is becoming the main kaiju. And it was fun. I really felt full of things you didn't see coming. I seen it. I need to watch it 2 more times before I say anything. Awesome. Final fight was a little too quick for me. Could have used a few more minutes. Yeah, like I say, guys, just because I said it was a good movie does not mean I don't have criticisms for the movie. But like I say, when I review a movie, it's either good or it's not. It's a yes or a no. I either say, yo, go watch it, or no, don't watch it. I'm not one of these people that will break every scene down on every frame when, yeah, sure, there is scaling issues on some parts, but then I'm seeing people saying stuff about scaling issues that don't even understand what scaling issues freaking are. I mean, it wasn't like Ant-Man 3 scaling issues. There was some here and there. I watched it and gave it a 9 out of 10. It's not a 10 because it didn't have enough Godzilla. And Scar King was a mid-level villain. Action was on point. Yeah, Scar King was very disappointing. I don't disagree with that. But he was also terrifying and gruesome, and you could really see the other apes in his colony, if you like, were terrified of him. Now, you can also tell that Adam Wingard has a lot of love for these, for Kong and Godzilla. A lot of people say that Adam Wingard hates Godzilla. No, I don't think he does. He just used Godzilla when he could, because if Godzilla ain't fighting, like we've seen in Monarch Legacy of Monsters, he doesn't really do much, let's be honest. So he used Godzilla when he could. Adam Wingard really does love this franchise. And sure, I think the comments saying that Scar King is the greatest threat ever, because he's not even close to King Ghidorah's level, but he had to promote the movie, and he did what he thought was best. So I'm pretty happy with the overall outcome. The movie was amazing, just needed to be longer. Sure, I think all movies need to be longer, so let's break it down even more. It was a super good movie, but I'd rather less hand signaling and more fighting. Yeah, some people did moan about how Godzilla was fighting, which I get it. I do get it, and there's a bunch of comments of people going, the only complaint I have is they killed Scylla and they killed Tiamat. I don't know what to say to that, but Godzilla has to be king of the alphas, king of the freaking monsters, so I'm sure that's why he killed them off. But there are so many other titans and kaijus and stuff they can introduce into said movie. Loved the movie, saw it 8 out of 10. I did get a funny comment here saying, how are you allowed to spoil the movie? Because what I did is I reviewed the movie properly. You can't review a movie without going over the plot, and I waited till the review embargo lifted, which it did at Thursday, 4 p.m. So I just made the video the way I make. It was okay. I give it like a 7 out of 10. There was no real development or explaining Godzilla's reasoning, etc., but a 7 out of 10. I mean, it was explained why he went to Tiamat's lair and why he had to power up. Godzilla was only around when he needed to be. I agree, I don't like the Shimo design. Yeah, I didn't really like to say that comment because I do understand how hard it is to do animation and how hard it is to design these characters. It's just I didn't personally like the way Shimu looked, and that was it pretty much. And yes, I misspoke in my actual initial review. They did address the history of Shimu fully. I just must have like popped over it a little bit. So I do like to, because yeah, like we've got a little bit of a MonsterVerse community here. So let me just read over this, because the scaling issue comment annoyed people. Scaling issue is quite evident throughout this film. Scar King size changes right to Kong multiple times, even Shimu. Yeah, we've addressed that, but I can't really go over absolutely everything. When they're seeing Kong petting Shimu, it looked small. Then in the next scene, it looked huge. Yeah, okay. Godzilla jumping on Scylla looked way overdone for the fight scene. King Kong knocked Godzilla with help of the Beast Glove. 2 after multiple shots, changing and charging the glove. Then Godzilla attacked back, stomping Kong, almost killed him. Ultimately, Mothra appeared right at the time. Godzilla really wanted to kill Kong, and like liking Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah, but I mean, I understand the scaling issue, but for me, it doesn't take me out of the movie enough to the point where I'm going to massively talk about it, if I'm honest. I've seen a lot of people saying this movie's great for children and great for like kids and stuff, which I mean, I appreciated it. So I don't understand why you'd have to be a kid to like this movie. So I don't get it. Let's go over a few more. I'm sorry, but the movie was mid. Even the fights are mid. This is the worst ever. It's like watching a video game and no more MonsterVerse. This is the end. It's a typical American garbage movie, dumb fun with no substance. Like I say, people can have their own opinions. I think it's a pretty decent movie. A lot of people obviously think it's a pretty good movie because of the Rotten Tomato score. I get it, Rotten Tomato score doesn't really mean much, but you've got to have a metric. You've got to follow a metric somewhere. And most of the comments on my YouTube video are pretty darn positive when it comes to whether they like it or not. So I posted something on my Twitter account saying, why are so many people talking about -1 in Godzilla X Kong reviews? I mean, I know I haven't really gone over many, but they have. They really have. And then I got someone reply to it, and I don't really see the point of comparing -1 to Godzilla X Kong because it's not even close. It's not even close to being the same thing. So then someone responded and quote tweeted, because it was a fantastic Godzilla movie that showed people of a side of Godzilla they have never believed existed. Because they are both movies with the exact same character and they both just came out. One came out last year, one came out months later. It's not even the same Godzilla, not even the same timepiece. It's not even, okay, I'm not going to say the multiverse. It's not even the same universe. You just can't really compare them. I liked Godzilla X Kong, but comparing it to -1 is completely a natural reaction because they are both Godzilla movies, different type, but the same character. But they're not the same character. Same subgenre, but they're not the same subgenre. It makes sense. Just because it's unfavorable doesn't mean it doesn't add up. And then this person went on to kind of compare Thor Love and Thunder, Iron Man 1 to Avengers, Age of Ultron, and then compared James Bond movies. Like, you can't compare Die Another Day to Casino Royale. Why would you? I don't understand why you would compare movies that are completely different, irrespective of the character. Sure, you should compare this movie to Godzilla vs. Kong if you want, to King of the Monsters, to Kong Skull Island, to the standalone Godzilla movie, because they're all in the MonsterVerse. Godzilla Minus One is not in the MonsterVerse, so you should not be comparing it, because if you're going to play this game, then why aren't you comparing this movie to every other Godzilla and Kong movie that came before the MonsterVerse? And then you go down that wormhole, and then it gets out of control. So respectfully, I don't agree with people comparing Godzilla X Kong to Godzilla -1. It's not even, one's a low budget movie, one's not. It's not even comparable to me, to be honest. But if you think I'm wrong, let me know down below. And it also received a -A on Cinema Score, which is the second highest of the MonsterVerse movies, which is cool. I mean, like I say, I don't really care for scoring. It's like either it's good or it's bad. But a lot of people kind of are hating on this movie to a certain degree, mainly for scaling and no human side story. But they're completely different. If you want the human story, watch Monarch Legacy of Monsters. If you want the human story, watch Godzilla -1. There was a bunch of, there was so much human story in this. We even had a YouTuber stroke podcaster, Bernie, talking about his podcast and talking about aliens. And we also had a dentist, played by Dan Stevens, Trapper. I mean, how can I remember this stuff if there's no human plot? And the Gia storyline with the Iwi. I mean, there's no human story, but there's a lot of human story. I mean, it is what it is for me. So like always, guys, let us know. Did you like the movie? Did you dislike the movie? And do you think you can compare -1 to Godzilla X Kong the New Empire? I don't really think you can, but everything down below, guys. And if I get enough comments, I'll make another video talking about whatever you said in the comments, maybe. So yeah, overall, it's been received pretty well. I think the critics are being majorly harsh on the movie. I don't know. I mean, technically, I could say I'm a critic, but for me, it's a yes or a no. Would I watch it again? Yes. And that's pretty much it. Is it as good as Godzilla -1? Well, I wouldn't compare it. They're both good movies, in my opinion. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the blue voice. Check us out on Twitter at WarstuG. And thank you very much for all the love and support on the Godzilla X Kong MonsterVerse videos we've done over the past 6 months. It's been a sweet ride. Don't worry, the MonsterVerse videos are not going anywhere, but it will be harder to make content around that because there's going to be no movie news for another movie for a while. We know they will get another movie, but Adam Wingard said it's not greenlit at the moment. But we will be covering Marvel, DC, pop culture, and other stuff on this channel. Like we always have, this channel was pretty much built on Marvel and then DC to some degree. And recently, MonsterVerse, we did cover Godzilla vs Kong back in 2021. And we've covered a bunch of this movie leading up to the release of Godzilla X Kong. So, I will catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch you later.